lovely people. Welcome or welcome back to the All Things All American podcast where we talk all things All American. Just a disclaimer that this week is our last week of doing the blind reaction commentary style videos, but do let me know if you actually liked it and would like me to continue. I don't mind doing both the blind reaction and the character analysis. We'll pick up with the character by character analysis next week, but it will only be uploaded on Friday at 12 p.m. Central African time. So just check what that is in your time zone. And yeah, so this is the season 7 episode 7 commentary, and let's get right into the episode. So this episode starts with Layla for the second week in a row, and I'm not mad at it. I will never be mad at an OG getting as much screen time as Layla has been getting. So thank you, writers, for that. Anyways, so Jordan's on a work trip, and yeah, they're definitely missing each other because I'm sure Jordan is aware of her schedule. Layla mentions that she's awake an hour earlier than normal, so he most certainly knows what time she wakes up, and he called before that, which is why she's leaving him a voicemail, because she missed his call before. Anyways, Layla is stressing about Khalil and how their relationship is going, how Khalil isn't opening to her as much, how Khalil's not really comfortable in the house, and Layla isn't comfortable with that. Now, I see both sides, okay? If I'm hosting you and I offer this space to you, I've invited you into my home and I want you to be as comfortable as possible, you know? I don't want it to feel like you're stuck here, like we're forcing you to stay in this house. And I get it from Khalil's perspective as well, because you are entering those people's homes. They're nowhere near your family, okay? You're not related. You barely know these people, and they've invited you to live in their home. The least you can do is, tidy up after yourself and, stay out of their way. But I don't know, it doesn't translate properly to some people, because why are you avoiding me? Like, is there something wrong happening here? Is there something more? So yeah, I can see why Layla is offended, and I can see why Khalil's staying away. But Khalil, why are you leaving the house before they wake up? Like, writers, please ease this baby for me. And yeah, so if you know Layla, you know that she really struggles with opening up and communicating her emotions. But in this voicemail, you can just see her unleash her emotions. You can hear her nervousness, you can see her anxiety, you can see her rumble on the phone, and it translates. Like, we can see how she's feeling without her having to express his emotions. Now, some people will say, well, she's married to Jordan, they should be able to talk about these things, she should be able to tell him. If you know Layla, you will know that this is progress. From season 1, season 2 Layla, this is extraordinary, and I'm so proud of her growth. Yeah, last thing I want to say is, I don't know if Layla is having some thoughts about the mascara she's holding, but that smile and the look is giving pregnancy test. Yeah, I'm not deluding myself into getting that storyline anytime soon, but writers, directors, I hope there's something intentional behind that, and it's not just, the shot they got. And in the very next scene, Layla is concerned, validated. Okay, she walks in to the kitchen, and Khalil's already made breakfast. He's cleaning up, and he rushes out the door the second she sits down. Also, he's calling her Mrs. LB instead of Layla, so there's no sign of an actual connection between them. You know how when you have a friend, right, you obviously get on first name basis, you get personal, you give each other nicknames. There's absolutely nothing with these two. They barely have conversation because Khalil's, he's rushing out. Now Layla woke up an hour earlier, right? So she must have caught Khalil off guard. Okay. Like I said, she mentioned before that Khalil's always out before they even wake up. So it would make sense why Khalil's rushing out the door. Something else that's very, very strange here is Amina and Coop had that conversation about putting some distance between them and Coop being all up in her space and all of that. And here Coop is, first thing in the morning, bringing Amina food. Now, we haven't seen much of these two in a bit. I don't remember them having an interaction in the last episode. Please correct me if I'm wrong. But yeah, maybe they spoke before and Amina gave her the green light. But Coop is doing this to avoid patience. We all know how I feel about this relationship. I'm ready for it to be done. Okay? Side note, Amina really is Miss Popularity at South Crenshaw, hey? Because she's running for class president. She's been nominated for prom queen. I don't see why she wouldn't get these things because, who else, So there's that predictability factor we're dealing with at the moment. Not saying that she doesn't deserve it, but we don't know if she's earned it. You get? Actually, remember her interaction with Yasi? Where's Yasi? I don't want him back, but where is he? Anyways, her interaction with Yasi in episode 2 wasn't as friendly, so it doesn't seem like she's all out there, for one. Two, we've only seen her with Macy and Khalil, okay? So I don't know, there haven't been signs that Amina is popular or one of the cool kids, as the littles would say. Or maybe it's a newfound popularity since that episode where they had the food thingy on South Crenshaw. So I don't know. It just feels kind of out of place to me. But yeah, we're dealing with that. Mark my words, she'll probably get both, homecoming queen and class president. Is she even running for class president or student co-president? Somebody just remind me. Now class, are we sure Khalil doesn't like Amina? Hear me out. Khalil's living in Beverly now, and he left the Baker house to go to Amina's house just so he could walk her to school. Let that sink in. And I don't think Khalil drives either, so he's probably Ubering all the way. Are we sure they're not romantically involved? Well, obviously we know where Amina stands, but from Khalil's perspective, I think he likes her, you guys. I'm not buying this friendship thing because no friend goes out of their way to do all that. Just saying. Okay, so there's a very significant difference in the way Layla and Amina interact with each other and the way Layla and Khalil interact with each other. Okay, Amina is more comfortable speaking to Layla, and it's mainly from that conversation they had in the lounge, okay, where Layla validated her feelings and she didn't really impose her opinion on Amina. The way she spoke to Amina in that moment and the feedback she gave Coop about Amina's feelings were completely different. Okay, she didn't make Amina feel like she's the adult and she knows better and she knows how Amina should be feeling or whatever. So Amina's more open with her, and Khalil's kind of running away from that, I think. Yeah, which also brings me to Layla's stance on having kids. I feel like this is part of the reason she doesn't want to have kids. Layla has always had that struggle with connecting with people on a personal level, you know, where when she starts opening up about what she's actually going through, they just run in the opposite direction, except for Jordan. So Khalil's kind of the same way, where he's avoiding personal conversations with Layla, and you know, he doesn't want to settle into a conversation with her and all of that. So I feel like her not wanting to have kids at the moment is kind of out of fear that she'll fail to connect with the child. But that's just a thought. Anyway, it's really, really sweet that Amina has all these people rooting for her to succeed, and they all believe that she will be president. And I love this for her, you know. Her mom's not here and she's obviously feeling that absence, but everyone's trying their best not to fill that void, but to show up for her, to help her recognize that even if her mom's not here, everyone else is here trying to be here for you, like we're all in your corner. Coop, on the other hand, is just doing everything in her power to run away from Patience. Why she's agreeing to move forward to moving into an apartment with Patience is beyond me. Like, you don't want to talk to her today, but you want to live with her for the rest of your lives potentially. Like, make it make sense. And Patience, I thought we were going to London for 10 months. So why are we trying to lease an apartment that you won't even be living in? And where's Coop staying? Right? She lives in the valley apparently, but with who? You know? She's not living with the baker, she's not living with Preach and Amina. Something's missing here, something's wrong. Now, I think Layla is the perfect person for Coop to have this conversation with about not communicating, because I feel like out of all the characters we've met so far, she's the person who understands to the core what not communicating can do to you. Okay? Just last season, she was hiding the most important part of her life, which was struggling with her mental health and her meds, and that could have cost her her relationship, because remember, Jordan was giving her an out, you know, because she felt that she couldn't articulate her feelings correctly. Now, Coop being Coop, Coop is going to do what Coop wants to do, okay? Coop and Patience made plans to move in together way before what's going on now. They put these plans in place a year ago, okay? But now things are changing. Patience is moving to London for her job, and their relationship isn't where it was a year ago. You know, they've spent more time apart than together in the last 2 years. So it's not fair for Coop to be avoiding Patience this whole time and still get excited to want to live with her. Okay? What's going to change? Like, what's the difference between where you are now and where you'll be when you move in with each other? Like, make it make sense. This is the same logic people use when they have kids to fix problems in their relationship, or when they get married to fix problems they had while dating. Like, guys, let's be realistic. If you can't sort it out now, what makes you think making a big change is going to, not a big change in a positive way, like moving in together, I don't know, it's going to amplify the problems you have in your relationship because you're together more, you're spending more time together, and all of that. So, yeah, you're better off going to couples counseling to fix what's going on in your relationship than moving in or getting married or having a baby. Moving on. Women talk. Why why are we like this? This gender. How did the news of Khalil making Layla breakfast get back to Amina? Or who was it? Cooper, Layla. Both of them talk too much. So, anyways, but we're getting more insight into Khalil's behavior, especially towards Layla. So, he's feeling uncomfortable with the direction him and his father are going in. Okay, so a few weeks ago, I don't know how long it's been since the last episode, but both of them were living in Crenshaw. Okay, the difference now is Khalil is living in a gorgeous house in Beverly while his father is sitting in a jail cell. Okay, and yeah, it's playing on his mind that he could be the reason why his father stays in there longer. Now, I know what that sounds like because his dad committed the crime and he should pay for it or whatever. But Khalil's alibi is the only reason he is probably still in jail. Okay? If Khalil lies to the cops, he's getting released immediately. But because Khalil chose not to say anything, one, there's a target on his back from both his father and his father's guys. Okay? Two, that's still his dad. Okay? He could be the worst person on the planet, but he's the parent who stayed while his mom ran off to wherever. Okay, so there's kind of that sense of loyalty he feels he must maintain with his dad because his dad was there for him. He's the parent who's stuck, so he should do the same. But, you know, it's not his responsibility, and that's a lot to carry. See what I told you guys? I called it. She was going to get the election. Like, it's predictable in that way. I don't know how I feel about it. I don't know. Sometimes the main characters have to lose a little. You know, you can't get everything. So now that she's gotten this, she should sit from Queen out. Sorry, not sorry. Another thing that's really, really different with Layla is how persistent she is being with Coop to fix things with patience. Like, whether they continue dating or they end up breaking up, this is very, very out of character because we know how Layla hates people being in her business, so she stays out of other people's business as well. This is growth, character growth. You know, when we say we want a character to grow, this is what we mean. Also, Amina, I don't understand why she thought having teenagers celebrate in a lounge with a lot of alcohol and no adult supervision was a good idea. Okay, like they are happy for you and they're in your corner, but I think leaving you guys unattended in the lounge is a bit too far. Yes, they were there last week for GW's birthday and all, but that's different. You know, there are adults everywhere. No one's needed to keep an eye on all of you and all. But Layla offered the Baker house. I have a problem with this. Okay, Amina's friends live in Crenshaw. Crenshaw means Khalil's dad is there. Okay, yeah, inviting more people to know where you live, and I don't like this. I don't like the idea of this. I don't think anyone that's currently on the show has been to their house. Okay, so you're exposing yourselves to more threat, to more danger. Why are you so open to having people, strangers in fact, in your home? This okay. Also, I don't understand why Amina can't throw it at her home. Hear me out. Grace was able to throw a wedding. How many parties did Spencer have in their house? Hell, they had a whole cookout in season 1, and suddenly the house isn't good enough to have your party. Like, girl, the president isn't coming. Let's calm down. Like, even Cope was freaked out by this whole situation. And for Coop to be freaked out about it, you know you're doing something wrong. Layla? Okay, let's put a pin in the episode for a second. Why is it that we're 2 for these girl obsessed ships? I need Tori to stand up. She's too good for this. She's too good to be somebody's rebound. No, I'm not a fan of this. I don't know. And I think that's why I'm struggling to ship the new gen couples in either direction. I like that Tori is taking a step back and like trying to push this friendship agenda or whatever, but she's still showing that she likes KJ. But again, KJ sounds like a really good friend. Okay, so even if they don't go anywhere relationship wise, I've said this before, I feel like they would be the best of friends, and I think I want them to build up on that. Not everything has to end in a relationship, you know. Tori, this is just a crush. I think she can get over it. But yeah, sometimes, I don't know, jumping from friendship into relationship isn't worth losing the friendship you had before. Again, Coop would do what Coop wants to do. Patience was making valid points. Like, we haven't spoken to each other this whole time, and then we are about to sign a lease, like binding us to this contract for at least a year. Like, you don't find something strange with that? Also, Coop being on first name basis with her professor. Like, I don't know. There's so much going on here, and Coop isn't paying attention to what's going on around her. Patient has been uncomfortable for a while, and Coop keeps dancing around this conversation. I don't get why Patience isn't initiating it as well and like leaning on Coop to start this conversation. It's probably because Patience was the one in the wrong this time. By in the wrong, I mean last episode's article where Coop saw that she's getting really, really close to somebody else in New York. So she's trying to make it up to Coop by letting Coop make all these big decisions for them and their relationship. Sigh. Another reason why they should just end things. Like, yeah, no. Then we have Patience unleashing her relationship problems on Macy, Amina's friend. Like, what the hell's going on with these two? Like, this can't be serious. Speaking of friendship, you know how I said KJ and Tori would be better off maintaining that friendship? I feel the same way about Amina and Khalil. Okay, Khalil has been busying himself cleaning up after everyone and trying to make sure the Baker house stays clean and whatever, and not having fun himself. and Amina is that person who can get him to relax. I don't know how that will translate as a relationship. Like, some dynamics are better off as just being friends, being best friends. It's nice when you date your best friend and they're like your best friend and your lover in one, but some people fail to make that transition. And again, it's sometimes it's not worth it. Like, transitioning into a relationship isn't worth losing the friendship you had before, and that's a hill I'm willing to die on. Okay. um if Khalil and Amina date and it doesn't work between them, what happens to this friendship? Okay, Khalil doesn't have stability in his life, like, apart from Jordan, um and Layla by extension. Amina is that person who's been pushing Khalil to do good, like to be better. So if they ruin that friendship they have, he's losing more than just a girlfriend, you know? He's potentially losing the best friend he's ever had. I think that's why he could be reluctant to move forward with Amina. Then we have Layla and Cassius. Like I said, women, we talk too much. Layla loves gossip. This girl came in for work and she's ending up with a drink to hear about Cassius's relationship problems. Now, Cassius needs more friends in LA apart from Layla. I'm for this friendship. I love their friendship. I've said it before. I feel like Layla needs somebody who's had enough life experience to get feedback on, and Cassius needs somebody closer to Katie's age to, you know, as a second opinion sometimes, because kids are wild. um so yeah, I like this friendship. And also, Cassius is a parent, and Layla's struggling with her newly found parent role with Khalil. So, this man could be useful in that department, you know? So, yeah. People are seeing relationship goals here, romantic notes. I don't see it. Yeah, no. On the other side, at the party, Amina's trying to get Khalil, to open up about why he is struggling with moving into the Baker house, and he's avoiding that. Again, I feel like he's holding out on Layla because of Layla's character. You know, Layla is very nurturing. Okay, she's very calm. She's very maternal in a way. So Khalil actually stopping and having a conversation with Layla is going to break him down. Layla and Khalil are essentially strangers, okay? So in getting to know each other, Layla is going to be asking him questions that you have to answer, okay? Now, it's more than just speaking about his feelings. There's probably a bit of embarrassment that he's ended up in this situation, okay? Having to be taken in by a stranger. Side note, every time Khalil sees Tori with KJ, he has the exact same reaction. So, I don't know. Does he like Tori? Does he just not like KJ? So by extension, he'll always have some animosity when he sees them. Is he defending Amina? Does he like Amina and he's offended that KJ could possibly be playing in her face? Like, there's so much going on. Writers, you need to start telling me what's going on with Khalil. For real, for real. I need to know where he stands with Amina. Do you like her? Do you not like her? Is she just a friend? Like, speak up, sir. Okay, so we've moved back to Layla and Cassius, and this girl is hilarious. I think we all know how Layla feels about football, which is, I don't know, it's off considering Layla was an athlete in high school. She was in the track team, if you don't remember. So the fact that she's so disinterested in sports, unless it's Jordan, is it's comical to me. Like, she doesn't even try to hide it, and she's quick to switch the conversation back to Cassius's wife because again she loves the gossip. Women, we need to do better. Also, if you remember in episodes 1 and 2, I mentioned how KJ just tells everyone his business. It's clearly genetic because Cassius has been pouring his marriage issues to Layla since the first day they met. Like, sir, you don't know her. So I don't know why you feel so comfortable to say all this to her. But again, this speaks to Layla's nature. Okay, remember how I said Khalil probably doesn't want to talk to Layla because she would be able to break him down? This is it. This is it. Like, she's very easy to talk to. It's the same with Jordan, how he literally just pours his heart out to her when she, asks him to. Yeah, that's just who she is. I love it when I have a theory and the episode validates what I'm saying. Coop and Patience moving in together is just a band-aid on their relationship problems, and I'm glad this professor called it out. I don't like that the professor is the one who said it because Coop is getting a bit too familiar with her, and Coop is feeling a bit more entitled to what she should get from the professor. This reminds me of her reaction to Laura teaching a class at GAU. Remember how she had that whole outburst about Laura using Patience's dilemma as a case in the class, and she wasn't having it. She was shouting at Laura and all of that. Same thing here. She's getting a bit too entitled because she's expecting an A from the professor. Why? Because they're on face name basis and they're spending a bit too much time together. This is why you're not allowed to fraternize with your professors. Kids, take note. So, yeah, I called it before. These two are going to hook up at some point. I won't even be shocked. I'll be more shocked if they don't. I don't even like that this is a conversation where Coop is blaming everything that's going wrong in her life on Patience. Like, girl, come on. Coop isn't growing as a character. Okay, this is the 7th season and she still lacks accountability. Self-reflection is non-existent with Coop. Like, your relationship got to this point because both of you checked out, both of you contributed to the problems growing between the two of you. And the fact that you've been running away from Patience and not trying to talk about it, that's on you too. Okay, but will she admit this? I don't think so. See, Amina is talking to KJ about how weird it is that he's always with Tori. Has she thought about how weird it is that she spends so much time around Khalil? This Amina is Coop 2.0. Self-awareness is 0, non-existent. And Tori is literally a miniature version of Layla. 1, she's the life of the party. Layla threw great parties. 2, she is into music, just like Layla. 3, she's a people person, just like Layla. Please, let her find love like Layla did. Without the struggle part. But, like, I need Jordan Baker 2.0 to walk in. See now, if Tori was nominated for prom queen, I would understand. Okay, you see the contrast between these two, how Tori interacts with people. Like, it would make sense for Tori to be popular compared to Amina. No offense to Amina, but like, you see where I'm coming from. Oh my gosh, I'm having secondhand embarrassment. Amina needs to stand up. If she's still into Khalil after this moment, I don't know what to do. I don't know what to say, because this is the second time this guy has passed up an opportunity to kiss you. Okay? No, I don't know. Does Khalil like Amina? Like, now I'm getting concerned for this potential shit. Like, Also, KJ was mortified when he heard that Khalil needed to kiss the shortest girl. The difference in the reactions between KJ and Khalil to the dare, because when Macy said that, KJ automatically knew that Amina was the shortest girl in the room. Khalil had to look around a little bit. Like, if he had to kiss someone else, he would have done it. Amina is the only one getting rejected here. No, like, think about it. Him looking around for somebody shorter than Amina was the telltale sign that he was going to do it if it was somebody else. Okay? If he wasn't, he would have taken the shot immediately. Oh, I'm getting third hand, fourth hand, fifth hand embarrassment from this. And then she goes and jumps on this guy. Amina, where is your self-worth? Preach, come get your daughter. Absolutely not. Absolutely not. She easily could have taken the shot here. Girl, Okay. Now, another problem I have. Sorry, today is Amina's day to get whacked, okay? So she jumps on Khalil when she could have taken the shot, okay? She was going to kiss him, okay, if he didn't take the shot. Then she gets in her feelings when Tori picks KJ for the 7 minutes in heaven. Make that make sense. Tori needs to stop what she's doing, because girly, I'm not a fan of this. I don't like that Tori is going to be the rebound girl here. I've said it before on my Twitter. In this triangle between KJ, Amina, and Tori, if anyone should get hurt, Tori should be last on that list. I said what I said. Now we're back to Layla and Cassius, and Layla's really trying to dig into the root of Cassius and Ava's marriage problems, and it feels like more than just her being nosy now. Layla is newly married and she's very anxious about a lot of things. So, knowing her, I'm sure she's thought about the worst case scenario, which is them not working out in the long term. And she's really trying to dig into this relationship that's not going so well. To me, it feels like she's trying to learn what not to do to end up in that situation. Also, I've mentioned before how I think KJ and Cassius ended up together in LA instead of KJ staying in Oakland with his mom, because KJ and Cassius are closer. Like, Cassius is the more active parent, and it's like it's been reinforced in this conversation. Cassius only became a coach because KJ loved football and he wanted to make sure he's the one coaching KJ through all of this. So Cassius moving to coach at Beverly meant KJ had to move with him as well. It shows in KJ's behavior, okay, that he's never really been in trouble like that. Again, he's always had a parent watching him. He has his parents at home, then he has a parent with him at school. There's no time to act out, there's no opportunity to misbehave. And that possibly could have meant resentment festered in Cassius, and he took it out on Ava because he is the one that had to be the primary parent. You know, he's the one that's had to be with KJ 24/7, looking out for him, making sure he's okay, while Ava goes about her business. And that's my theory on why they broke up. I mentioned this in episode 1, and yeah, my opinion hasn't really changed on that. Also, the overbearing parent comment from Cassius about his father, I really think Cassius is the cousin now. Um, yeah, Cassius is younger than Billy, so I don't know. Maybe he started playing football after Billy made it to the NFL or started getting traction in high school or something like that. So his father put pressure on him to go down that route as well. It feels a lot like him dropping hints to both Layla and Jordan, because last episode he was telling Jordan about how his father was a bully, and this episode he's telling Layla how his father literally made the game miserable for him. Like, he's trying to tell them that they could be related. Maybe I'm deluding myself, but I think Cassius is trying to put little hints out there for them that they're kin, and he doesn't know what coming out with it is going to do to their relationship. More so Layla than Jordan, because he's friends with Layla. But he doesn't know that Jordan is really excited about this uncle. And if they actually are related, imagine how excited KJ will be that he's related to Jordan. These guys don't really have extended family like that. With Layla, it's just JP. With Jordan, it's Liv, Laura, and GW. And yeah, everyone's gone. Like, they're all living their own lives. So to have somebody else really close by, like Cassius and KJ, and they'll be having little lunches and dinners together frequently, because I feel like that's what they would do. Like, when you come from a small family and you learn that you have more family out there, I feel like these two, in this case, they would want to get closer to those family members, given how eager Jordan has been with looking for this uncle. So yeah, like, if he is related, he should just come out with it. It won't be bad. Again, I love that the writer this episode is making me feel validated. This friendship with Layla and Cassius is beneficial for Layla as well in the parenting department, and how she can find a way in with Khalil, which is something she's been craving for. Also, back to Layla not being ready to have kids. It's more so her having fear that she won't be good enough as a parent. So to hear this from another parent, that you are doing great even if Khalil isn't receptive, it's validating for her. I see a baby coming soon, you guys. I'm telling you. Now, KJ kissing Tori. Oh my god, you are doing so well. Okay, so we've been told that they're really settling into this friendship and they have a good thing going. KJ, oh my gosh. He kissed her. He kissed her after she's made it clear that, okay, she's not putting herself in a position to be rejected again. Tori is aware of how KJ feels about Amina, okay? And she's not about to put herself in that position. KJ, you are doing so well. On a serious note, I'm not a fan of this thing where if you have feelings for somebody else and you still go ahead and try to pursue a relationship with another person, like to try and hide those feelings or to try and get over that other person, like let's not do that. Let's not do that. If KJ wants to be with Tori, or if he decides to take that step, he has to cut everything off with Amina. Like, for real, for real. My fear here is I don't even mind them dating because they have amazing chemistry together. Like, I'm shy to say this, but if I was to ship anyone out of these four, like this love square, it would be KJ and Tori. Like, I'm a sucker for the friends to lovers ship, provided it works out. Yeah, my fear here is if Amina turns her head and says, "Look, KJ, I like you," his head is going to turn towards Amina and Tori is going to get hurt. I've made my stance clear in this love triangle over here. Tori should be the last person getting hurt. Okay? I would take Amina's feelings getting hurt. I would take KJ getting heartbroken by Amina over Tori getting hurt by KJ because she doesn't deserve it. She's told you that she's okay with that one rejection and you're okay with being friends. Yes, her feelings are a bit hurt because she genuinely likes this guy, but she's okay with being his friend. But if he pushes that boundary, if he crosses that line and hurts her, KJ, you make an enemy out of me. I'm telling you, I'll be public enemy number one. See, this kiss almost distracted me from the fact that they're in Layla and Jordan's room. KJ walked in, he was picking up photos. He saw the closet, like he literally stood in front of the closet and saw where they are. Then he proceeds to make out with this girl on the bed. If anything, knowing Jordan and Layla, it's in their best interest to be off that bed. Okay, let me stop. Okay, side note, it's a shame that Patience overheard the conversation between Preach and her professor. Because I see both sides. From Patience's side, Coop should have been saying all this to her. But from Coop's side, it's helpful to get feedback from somebody else. Like an outside perspective. Yeah, sometimes you're blinded by your desire to keep this relationship alive, to keep this fire burning when both of you have checked out. Sometimes you need that wake-up call from someone to say, hey, look, maybe, just maybe, you've checked out and you need to take a step back. So I can see both sides, you know. Maybe Coop was still working through her feelings and how to, you know, voice this to Patience. But I don't know, maybe the professor wasn't the right person to say it to. I'd be more comfortable if she was speaking to Layla or Spencer. But yeah, sorry, I'm just bamboozled over here. Amina's reaction to KJ and Tori making out upstairs, girl, she's not being fair in this thing, because this fake relationship thing was for her to make Khalil jealous, for him to realize that she's right there and she could be moving on with somebody else. Now she messed around and caught feelings for KJ. This is what it's looking like here, because I mean, if she wasn't feeling some type of way, she wouldn't be reacting like this. Maybe it's for the optics as well. because you know everyone knows they're dating and he is running off with Tori, so it looks bad on her. But she's doing a bit too much, especially since she knows what's going on. Okay, this whole time she's been Khalil to KJ. Okay, then she wants to turn around and react like this when he's also building a connection with somebody else. This fake relationship was for her. To her, it was only fair, it was only fun and games when she was the only one benefiting. Okay, when she was the only one using KJ to get Khalil's attention. But the second KJ strays, she gets upset. So what it seems like is KJ was Amina's backup plan. Okay, if things didn't work out with Khalil, which they won't, she could turn around and say, hey, look, KJ, maybe we should stop fake dating and start actual dating. You get? Yeah, I called it. Fake dating always backfires. Like, it's either she's going to realize her feelings for him and admit it and they move on together, or KJ will abandon this whole thing and move on with Tori. What? Then she just stood there and did nothing when Khalil tried to fight KJ in her honor. Amina, this thing of being indecisive isn't cute. She's made it abundantly clear that she likes Khalil, yet she would be okay with Khalil fighting KJ for her. Oof. And this time, KJ got lucky that Layla and his dad walked in to release the party. This was going to be episode 1 part 2 because clearly Amina wasn't going to do something about it. I'm glad Tori spoke up though. That's a real friend. Even if they don't go anywhere, this is a friendship I can see going the long way. Okay, I can see them developing a beautiful friendship. And I don't know, even if they were to date and break up, these two I feel like would have an amicable breakup. Okay, the problem would be with the partners they move on with. Like, I don't know which partner would be comfortable with their boyfriend or girlfriend being close to their ex. Yeah, but that's my stance. I love KJ and Tori's friendship. I hope the writers don't mess with that too much. Now, being nosy must be genetic with the Baker side of the family. I'm telling you, Cassius is Jordan's cousin. So remember how I said KJ was up in Jordan and Layla's room picking up pictures and whatever? Cassius is doing the exact same thing in the office. Who else behaves like that? Jordan Baker. Remember when he was taking the photo albums in the barbershop and he discovered Billy and Grace and whatever? Was that Jordan? It was Jordan. I swear it was Jordan. Somebody just remind me. But yeah. So being a baker means being nosy. I'm telling you. And something that stood up to me was Cassius picking up the photo of the Bakers and calling them the perfect family. So that photo was taken during Laura's campaign. Okay, Billy wasn't even living in the house when that happened. Yeah, so it was a facade, you know, picture perfect family when there's so much going on behind closed doors. But one thing I'll commend Billy and Laura for doing is they kept their private business private. Okay. She was the district attorney, okay? Billy was kind of famous, you know, NFL great. So there must have been some traction from the media on like the Baker family, but none of that ever got out. Liv's addiction and her rehab and whatever, Jordan getting Simone pregnant, Billy and Laura breaking up, the whole cheating scandal, none of that got to the public. None of that was in the media. Okay, so they did really, really well. I'll give them their sixes for that, for being able to keep their family life private. So it would make sense that Cassius would be envious of their family dynamic, especially where he is now with Ava, separated, and KJ not having the two-parent household that most parents dream of for their kids. Now, in the last episode, he had a conversation with Jordan about, struggles with relationships, parent-son relationships, and all of that. And he's a parent, okay? He understands that sometimes him and KJ have conflict, okay? So to him, even knowing that, like, Jordan and Billy had an iffy relationship, the photo still stands out to him. Also, how Layla is telling him not to give up on his dad. So that photo isn't just about him and KJ and his family. It's also about him and his dad. Okay, they're clearly estranged now. Who else had an estranged father? Layla Keating, and she was a mess because of that. She was able to get over that. Like, her and JP are in a good place now. So yeah, it's fitting that she's the one to say this to Cassius. I can't wait until they're officially family, because now they're officially friends. So let's just skip to the family part. Also, the part where he mentions that he knows what being in foster care does to someone. This is it, you guys. They're related for real. You know what? Tori is like the funniest person on the show. Tori and KJ's sexuality will never not make me laugh. Okay? Like, she's really. Yeah. She doesn't disbelieve that this guy isn't feeling the chemistry between them. I'm in disbelief too. Okay? Also, I love that she's a good sport about this thing with KJ. Yeah. She's understanding as a person, because sometimes feelings are complicated. I know I say don't move on with somebody else if you have feelings for somebody else, but I feel like she's very understanding of KJ's position. KJ met Amina before he met Tori, so yeah, it's not strange that KJ feels the way he does about the two girls. Yeah, so her walking away, she put the ball in his court. So he needs to sort out whatever it is with Amina. If he moves on with Amina, okay, she won't have any hard feelings. This is what this conversation here is about. And if he chooses her being Tori, it has to be because he's completely shut that door out. If he swivels again, then she'll have every right to react. You get? Which is my biggest fear at the moment, because her reacting could potentially annihilate their relationship, their friendship rather. And I'm not ready for that. I love them together. I'm attached. Oh my gosh. I think KJ wanted Amina to admit that this thing was real for her, just like it was for him. Because she's asking him, like, what's going on with all this? Like, why would you be hooking up with somebody else at my party where everyone knows we're together? Because, after the fight and all of that, KJ didn't tell Khalil about the fake dating stuff. So, I don't know why Amina's feeling some type of way about that. Maybe it would have been an easy way out for her. I don't know. There's something very off about this whole thing over here. She's pushing KJ towards Tori now, and she's the one who's going to lose out. she's literally about to lose both Khalil and KJ. But then I don't get why she's so offended that KJ wants to explore things with Tori, because all she's done so far is tell KJ how she's into Khalil, and she's not really hiding it. So if she gets to explore things with Khalil while they're in a fake relationship, why isn't it reciprocated on KJ's end? Why is she the only one allowed to do all of this? Girl, I'm not feeling that. So she can go sit down somewhere. At the moment, Amina is my least favorite new gen kid. Sorry, not sorry. Right above Yasi. Let's not forget that. Yeah, no, Coop and Patience have been through so much, and I think they've been holding on to nostalgia. Yeah, they've both checked out, and yeah, they feel like it's going to be a waste because they're throwing away all that. But what you have to understand is walking away from a relationship doesn't mean it wasn't worth anything. Okay, they've spent, how many years were they together? I think it was over 5 years off and on, but they grew as people. They helped each other grow. They helped each other get to where they are now. So yeah, I feel like they will always have that special place in their hearts for each other because they've been through so much together. Yeah, but just because you've been through so much doesn't mean you have to wither every other storm together. Like, at some point you have to let go, and I'm glad they're letting go now before it became toxic between them. So this is an official goodbye to Hope and Patience. You were loved at some point. And the end was rough, but this is it from me. This is probably the last time I'll ever speak about them as a couple. Eesh. Shame. So to all my Patience fans out there, I'm sorry for your loss. Okay, so Amina is letting her frustrations about her loss with KJ out on Khalil. Now, Khalil has been, I don't know, I want to say he's been playing in this girl's face because maybe he genuinely didn't know that she liked him. And I don't know. I don't know if I even want to believe that. But yeah, he must have known that she felt something for him. And then after all this, after her outburst about her feelings or whatever, all he has to say is, are you saying that we're not friends anymore? She clearly wants to be more than friends, and your concern is keeping her in the friend zone. Khalil, please. Now, I hope this is the end of this ship, honestly. He's played in her face for too long. Yeah, no. Or maybe if it does happen, he has to work to earn her. No, like for he's embarrassed her enough. He's played in her face for too long. So yeah, if he does actually like her, he needs to earn her. Oh my gosh, KJ kicking the shoes, sir. They're your shoes. You didn't put them away. That you want to take your frustrations out on them. Shame. KJ is really hurt about this Amina thing. I'm telling you. If Amina admitted that she had feelings for him, they were going to try something out, like real dating. But she didn't, and he's walked away. So he's grieving that he could potentially be losing this friendship. I think where they all currently are, for all of them, if they didn't date, they would be okay with staying friends, except for Amina and Khalil because of the conversation they just had. But everyone else, KJ and Amina, Tori and KJ, they would be okay with staying friends. So, yeah, it's just funny. It's funny to see KJ mad because I don't know, he's very sweet. He's a sweetheart. He's still my little baby. So, yeah, seeing him frustrated is cute. Full circle moment. The conversation with Khalil and Layla at the end, where he actually cries and he opens up to Layla about how he's struggling with living in this house, knowing that his dad is suffering in prison. Okay. See, this is what I've been saying the whole episode. Okay. He knew that the moment he actually takes time to speak and listen to Layla, the floodgates were going to open. Okay, and like I said before, Layla is very maternal. Okay, she is very calming. She validates his feelings. She lets him know that what you're feeling is okay, and you are allowed to feel these emotions. Now, he's feeling guilty for having these feelings, which shows how he was raised. Okay, he was raised in those homes. Now, I'm sorry if this is what your beliefs are, I'm about to offend you, but he was raised in those homes where you're told no, men don't cry, boys should be strong, or whatever, whatever. I have a problem with that personally because I come from a completely different household. I cry like no man's business, and my little brother is the exact same way. He's a crier, and not once has my mother ever made us feel like we're not allowed to express those emotions. So to see Khalil struggling so much with his feelings and feeling guilty for having these feelings, and to have Layla validate that, like, she is really really trying to make a change in this man's life. She is trying to help him build healthier habits. Okay, trying to break those shackles his father has on him, and I really really love to see it. I hope we see more of this relationship flourish. I can see them going really, really far. I can see Layla being Khalil's biggest cheerleader, even more than Jordan, because she relates more to Khalil than Jordan does. Yes, Jordan is looking out for Khalil, but Layla is the one that's going to be on the nurturing side. Also, Khalil's mom isn't present in his life. Okay, he has that father figure, he has his dad. Okay, so a female presence, a calming presence, something completely opposite, is what he needs. I think that's why he was holding out on Layla as well. Okay, this is something he doesn't have, so letting Layla in will be new, and maybe it feels like some kind of betrayal to his mom that he's letting somebody else have her place. We have really broken down Khalil's walls over here. Layla telling him to call her Layla, okay, and him immediately calling her Layla and asking for advice about how to deal with Abina. Wow, wow, well done to them. Like, yeah, I love this for Khalil. He really, really needs this. Also, on Layla's end, this whole day, she's been struggling with feeling inadequate in Khalil's life. Like, she's feeling like she's not doing enough for Khalil. So, to have this moment with him where you can visibly see his walls fall, where he is okay with using her first name. Like, that's a lot for her, and yeah, she's really happy with that. I'm happy for them both. Well, I guess we now know where Coop lives. She is moving in with Amina and Preach. Um, and yeah, so this, I like that Coop is having this conversation with Amina. How Coop and Patience were friends before they were dating, and while they were dating, they were each other's best friend, and now they're broken up. So that definition of their friendship is definitely going to change. So this is something she should consider as well. How she moves with both Khalil and KJ is going to define how their friendship goes on forward. So that's this episode. Now, I'll admit that I had a bit of my concerns when I saw who was writing this episode, because I had a preconceived notion about who they are and how they write. But yeah, I'm always happy to be wrong. So this is my formal apology to China if she ever gets to hear this. This episode was so well written. I love it when the episode has characters that actually move the plot of the season. I don't think we've had any filler episodes this season, if I do say so myself. So kudos to every writer that's written so far, and every writer was still seeing as the season progresses. Season 7 might be up there as one of the best seasons of AA, and I'm not even joking. So yeah, thank you so much for listening, and I'll see you next week, Friday. Bye.